think he's sending Thrall in again. My goodness, Thrall, last time he played, he got up against a couple of warriors back to back. There was very little to counter, as Forkbeard is going to be the first warrior up versus Thrall. Looks like he tried to see if he can go for a bit of a earthy shield mastery knock, but it looks like Forkbeard was able to position it pretty well, but that root is going to keep kind of a actual landing Thrall there for a bit. So honestly, his position over the bat, not too terrible. Try to see if we can get back over there. That is going to be a fear. Try to see if we can disrupt Thrall. Ends up jumping off the side of the bridge just to avoid him. I think he's trying to go for that early second wind if possible. And Thrall is forced up to push into the guy. Lasso to wrangle him up for just a second. Try to see if he can stop him in place. Get himself the full Ice Fury Frost Shocks available, so maybe he can get himself a big go. Reflect up for Forkbeard, but those Frost Shocks are going to be brutal. Every time you got Frost Shock, Earth Shock, the man can't even walk up to you. He's literally just got to get sitting in those roots, knocked back as soon as you finally cover the gap over there, and the Lava Burst does end up collapsing on you. With Palm, Pushko gonna be up next. The Shadow Priest, actually Jesus on his Shadow Priest too. This is going to be a fear onto Thrall. Palm does go in for a bit of CC, but does get knocked back down ramp. Trying to see if he can get himself a better setup. Dark Ascension is going to be his play though. Trying to see if he can maybe make some kind of work off of that Dark Ascension. Dark Ascension, I gotta do more research into that ability. Because it says your non-periodic abilities, mostly instant cast abilities, are the ones that do more damage, like Insanity. Oh, I've seen some big spikes of Insanity. I've seen some screenshots of how big a spike can do, because that can be really, really good. Thrall, try to see if we can push him. Bomb actually has a lot of healing. While dampening isn't super high, Shadow Priest healing is actually excellent. You're able to recover a ton of health very, very quickly with just a couple of flash of heals. And your defensives too. Ooh, it is a combo, man. It is a nice little combo. And when you get low health, that part where life just really brings it back to life. Stun around the corner, Mind Games right after. Thrall's limited what he can do. Void Torrent is going to be actually lasted to interrupt it, as it's going to be silenced on the Thrall. Still limited on what he can really do versus Bomb, as the man trying to see if he can break into a full Ascendance, but he needs himself a better angle before he really wants to unleash it. Thrall has a lot of control though, so for Pompush, he's really kind of limited on what he can do. Sky Fury up, and Thrall can just move around and cast a lot of his most powerful abilities. It's going to be Earth Shocks, Frost Shocks to root down. Pompush can place, can't really do much. Has to go for disperse, trying to get aggressive though, as yet another knockback sends him flying. Does not want to hide behind a pillar. He just charging out towards Thrall. Does he have maybe a fear? Got himself a root, trying to keep him out in the open. Burrow to fall to break out of the root, knocking the Shadow Priest up into the air. Big meteor coming down from the Fire Elemental. Got himself more Lava Burst in. Does he have himself the damage? Ice Fury should let him set up big Frost Shocks to follow. That's going to be a lot of instant cast damage into a trinket out of Thrall. Big Lava Burst to follow, collapse everything down as Thrall releases the Lava Burst, even through his silence, able to let one go either way though. This is going to be, who's up next? Jayhawk? Jayhawk and Thrall last time to play each other. I think it was super high dampening, wasn't it? But Jayhawk, at least this time around, has himself a chance versus Thrall. No dampening to hold him back or nothing. It's going to be still big damage out of Archmage. Takes a lot of hits from Thrall. Thrall is very careful without touching the magic. Wants to either control Jayhawk, purge him off of all the buffs whenever possible, or just make sure he's secured. Touching the magic does not end up doing nearly as much damage as I thought it would. And Jayhawk, as he goes in for power shifting, gets interrupted on it. Iceblock to follow just to go for the recovery. It looks like he's putting all of himself out versus Thrall right now, and Thrall so far has been able to masterfully counter him pretty well. Earthquake on one side is going to be a polymorph for Jayhawk. Does play into the Master Shepherd PvP sound where polymorphs will not reheal the enemy player. Into an interrupt, Thrall breaks out of the poly in between the polys, is able to get himself a cheeky little interrupt. Breath by Jayhawk, got himself maybe another setup. It is going to be short poly. It looks like he's just going to use that just to give himself a bit of a breather. Trying to see if he can just back away from Thrall for just a moment. Got himself a little bit of recovery. And then get back in there once he's fully secured, once he's fully ready. As Earth Shocks, Frost Shocks most likely going to come out as a combo. Jayhawk does himself all the time so he could reposition back versus Thrall. Potentially get himself a better angle. I think mostly using it defensively, unless it was purged. Was it purged? It might have been purged by Thrall, might have actually removed it entirely. As Jayhawk got himself images and blinks, but he's really kind of limited when he can really do, unless he can get himself more of those shifting powers. Those shifting powers are going to be kind of massive though. Got himself Lava Burst as well as Lightning Bolts back up and ready. Has himself a big Skykeeper Lightning Bolt from the tier set as well. Doing quite a bit of damage, breaking right into Jayhawk right now. Not a great spot, trying to go for a polymorph, trying to go for an interrupt. Jayhawk is able to juke it though. And that's going to be Trial not setting up Poly long at all. The Earthshock right after Polymorph to follow. It's going to be another Meteor from the Fire Elemental. Ellie might actually end up taking out Jayhawk. Wait a second. Oh my. The dodge, the Flame Shock, and the dodge from the Fire Elemental actually do end up finishing him off very quickly. Holy Saya with the Spell Warden off the bat, trying to give Trial an opportunity to do any damage to him whatsoever. Quick Rebuke onto the heal as Trial is under a ton of pressure. Has himself a wall stun to follow off of it. Steel wall holding on strong. Trial just needs to get himself an angle. Holy Side trying to see if he can beat him up the ramp right now. If he can get ahead of him on the ramp, he will not get knocked back, and Holy Side takes him out. My goodness. I don't know if the flag of ownership was really, or the, what is it, the World PvP flag was really warranted. But the man did want to take down the Shaman, did not want to let him run amok in this arena whatsoever. That is rough, man. That is rough. Jihaya going to be up next over for the team 2. With the fear onto Holy Saya, trying to go for a bit of a VT. Actually, I think it's the first time, yeah, first one of Team 2 that went down as the Shaman just absolute monster, man. This guy is absolutely just a threat that needs to be eliminated by the Team 2 whenever possible. It's going to be a Holy Saya bubble in it. Jihai is able to remove it. But I don't really know how Shadow Priest fares against a Red Pally. I think for the most part, Red Pallies do end up winning this matchup. It is a big Void Torrent. Holy Sai still got himself shielded, but it's holding on strong as Jihaya, trying to go for as many Devouring Plagues on him as possible, ramping up the damage of DP together with the Empirical Brace to give himself as much healing as possible. As Holy Saya try to see if we can make it to Jihaya as best as possible. That is going to be a quick fear. Jihaya finally get himself a little bit of a setup with the Mind Games. However, does not have a bubble for this one. Maybe in a bit of trouble, in fact, actually. Maybe Execute does go for Lay on Hands. I think part of the Lay on Hands ended up hitting his own health bar, and the other part maybe ended up healing ya. So it's not the full recovery, but definitely didn't kill yourself with that just yet. As Jihaya trying to get himself a better angle versus the Holy Sai, got himself Blessing of Sanctify, so reduce the duration of the stun, actually letting him break away from Jihaya last second. That's actually really, really good. He needs recovery, he needs some healing. I don't really know what he can really do in this situation. He's just constantly running for it. But the man is still doing okay. He's still got wings. That's giving him a lot of the healing, a lot of the critical strikes, which can be converted into heals as well. And they got himself lots of potential damage. Just to go in with that damage. Does he have a stun to follow up though? He's trying to be extra careful. One more Execute could end up taking him out. He's still got a lot of dots on him right now. Does end up using a wall just to give himself a little bit more survivability here. Bubble comes out. Jihaya is actually on the back foot. Cannot really go for a massive spell. Hasn't played super defensive. Got himself Desperate Pair together with the VT, but he can't really do too much damage unless he got himself all the dots rolling ahead of time. And all side just slams him down, taking him out fairly quickly. Is it going to be Cracker? It looks like it's not going to be Cracker. Duel instead with a quick in-cap versus Holy Saya. Trying to see if he can take it down right then and there. But it looks like he doesn't add the Zuet into this combo. Holy Saya does himself plenty of defenses to live that first go. But Duel is not giving up any kind of pressure. He's in there with a Zuet now, blind to fall off of the Fist of Furious. Holy Saya trying to get himself a little bit of recovery. Most likely playing Spell Warden. Actually, he is playing Spell Warden. Lay on Hands barely does anything for you. It barely heals you. It's 56% dampening. My goodness. And Evoke the Foot gonna be last one sporting his team as a Devastation Evoker, not an Augmentation. So this Evoker got a ton of potential damage here. Versus Duel, he got him. What's happening? I don't think it was a root or anything, right? Is Duel just trying to die? That or he's trying to set someone up? Maybe he had to do a reload? But Evoke the Foot has no idea what's really going on. That is gonna put Duel in behind a little bit here. Evoke the Foot just trying to see if he can find himself a better angle versus the guy in cap. Maybe that's what he's trying to go for. Letting the Evoker come down from the top so he has a little bit less mobility under the bridge. Big Fist of Fear to follow. Big damage to Evoke the Foot. Trying to go for Sleepwalk. Almost connects, but no, actually hits the win instead of the Monk. I don't know if he meant to do so. G-Bet to try to see if he can bail away. Ring in Peace, not let him go anywhere. Root to follow doesn't have much. Oh my goodness. That was rough. Yeah, the Evoker cannot run away from that one. A Trial with 3, Holy Sai coming back with 2, and then I believe it was the Monk at the end that took out 2, right? Well done, well done. Let's get us another one going here, boys. Uno mas, uno mas. I'm liking these duels, man. Although Trial is just dominating these as an Elemental Shaman.